What's up, internets? It's Kick Blake. It is about 7:15 a.m. on the day before my first three-gun match. So I just wanted to kind of make this video in two parts. This part is going to be discussing what I'm taking with me, which is basically just a collection of the stuff I just already had with a couple little parts that I thought I might needed. And then I'll come back after the match and kind of show you guys what worked and what didn't. As a beginner to this sport, I didn't go out and try to just splash out on what the top guys are running. I tried to cobble together what I could just to get out there. So without further ado, I guess we'll start at the most important thing, and that is the guns. So I'll start off by saying that I do not currently own anything other than a single shot 20 gauge shotgun. So I'm actually going to borrow a shotgun from one of the guys in my gym, and then, believe it or not, I don't even know what he has. So that'll be a surprise. He told me what kind of bird shot to get, and he said he'd bring slugs for me. So on that note, the group that's running this event, the website for the event said to bring a minimum of 100 rounds for rifle, 50 for pistol, and 25 bird shot, and 5 slugs. So to be safe, I'm actually going to bring 250 rounds for rifle, as well as 100 rounds for my backup rifle. And we'll discuss why those two are different here in a minute. 250 rounds for pistol, mostly because I just already had it. Because actually next weekend I'm running a USPSA match. So that's another thing to note, is that I'm not completely new to the three-gun format, as I have run USPSA, which is basically three-gun minus the rifle and shotgun. So as far as how the staging works, I've seen it before. And then back to round count, I'm going to bring 50 shells, and then my buddy said he'd supply me with the slugs for his shotgun. So now let's talk about the gear I'm running. Safety check. Chamber's empty. This is a high standard AR-15. This thing is bog standard, off-the-shelf M4 profile stuff from, man, I think I bought this 8 years ago, and it's probably older than that. Many years ago, I had added this, it came with the standard A2 style front sight block, so I had that knocked off, and I had this little gas block put on, and actually paid to have it pinned, that has a Picatinny rail on it, so you can mount a front sight. And it came with the standard clamshell handguard. The previous owner had put on a drop-in quad rail. I went and added this Yankee Hill Machine free-floated quad rail, and the Magpul stock and grip as well I added. Sight is a primary arms red dot, nothing special. Backup irons are Yankee Hill Machine as well. That was, I think the bolt carrier group is a Fail Zero nickel boron coated mil-spec trigger, mil-spec everything, and believe it or not, this upper doesn't even have M4 feed rams in it. The barrel it's probably just a nitrided barrel. It's a 16-inch barrel. I mean, this is a pretty bargain basement AR-15, even the optic, but it's what I got, and I kind of wanted to go out and run this. This lower is actually registered to be an SBR. Obviously, it's got 16-inch barrel. It's not currently in an SBR configuration, but I wanted to run it the way it is to see if I wanted to replace this barrel with something nice and 16-inch, if I wanted to go 14.5, or go with my original plan, which was to go down to 12.5, and just deal with the fact that at the 600-yard targets, which apparently this match could have, it's just not going to be, it's going to have more holdover. But to be perfectly honest, I've never shot 600 yards unmagnified, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see it through the red dot anyway. So we'll get to that later. As far as modifications I did going into this event, like specifically for this event, I used to have the old school Magpul XTM rail covers, which are kind of fat. So I replaced them with these LaRue index clips, which also comes with these nice hand stops. We'll see how that works. I just wanted something a little bit thinner, as that's kind of what I've gotten used to. It already had the Magpul Sling Swivel in the back, and I went ahead and added one up front because when I built this rifle, the cool thing was single point slings, and now that seems to be going out of favor. So went ahead and added a second sling hook up here so I could dual point it if necessary. Again, watching YouTube videos of 3-gun matches, sometimes they sling the rifle, sometimes they don't. I just wanted to be prepared, so I've got that. And I've got a Magpul MS2 convertible sling, so it can go from single point to dual point. I also added, this is a dead air muzzle brake that I added about a week ago, that I had laying around. Not going to run it with a can or anything like that, but at least not for the event, but I might in the future, so I went ahead and stuck that on because it still had the standard A2 birdcage. And it's drastically over gas. This is not an adjustable gas block, so I went ahead and put a heavy buffer in there as well. So that's it. It is pretty basic. It is not spec'd out specifically for 3-gun by any stretch of the imagination. So, and I mention that to say that, I mean, honestly, even if you don't have an AR-15 or a carbine that to run, you might still want to go just to see before you splash out some money if the sport is interesting to you. But if you've got a basic, even M&P Sport off the shelf, run it. Honestly, go out there and check it out. Even if you just have backup irons, because there is a class called Tactical Irons, which doesn't allow magnification. It's either a red dot or backup iron sights. That's actually the class I'm going to run in. So it's not like you're going to be at a competitive disadvantage to the guys with those badass 1 to 8 scopes, because they're in a totally different class. I mean, if you wanted to try to run that class, you would be in a competitive disadvantage, but there is basically a red dots and irons class, so you'll be right in there. All right, so that's the primary rifle. This is the one. It's 5.56, so I've got 250 rounds of 5.56. But because I've never done any kind of super high volume of fire stuff with this rifle, I'm bringing a backup rifle, and it is 300 Blackout. And it is this little guy. This is an SBR. This is kind of my home defense gun, which is why it's got, actually a pistol light on it. Arrow precision upper and lower, ballistic advantage 7.5-inch barrel. This thing is also going to be abysmal at the long range targets, but I'm only bringing it in case I have to use it, which is why I only got 100 rounds for this. All right, on to pistol, the last weapon. And this is the only thing I've actually done any kind of competition with. Like I stated earlier, I've done a couple of USPSA rounds, but it is a Walther PPQ. It is not the 5-inch version. It's not the match. It is the standard 4-inch Walther PPQ. I like the triggers better than the Glocks that everybody seems to use. So this is what I'm going with. Nothing. I mean, this thing is 100% out of the box, bog standard. So I'm not going to bore you guys too long talking about it because there's nothing special to it other than the fact that it's just not the Glock that everybody runs. All right. So that's weapons. We've talked ammo. Let's talk belt. Again, pretty simple setup. This is just a, what is this? What do they call this? Hold on. It's a Blackhawk Belt. I bought this off of eBay years ago. I've been using it for beginner USPSA matches. It works. It's a Blackhawk Riggers belt. Nothing special. Inexpensive. There's knockoffs and other like Cobra buckle tactical belts you can get off of Amazon if you just need something to get you going. So just get a belt. If you've got a thick leather belt, do that too. But these are really inexpensive if you want to get into that. For pouches, these have fallen out of favor too, but it's what I had. These are Hsgi Taco magazine pouches. These are the double deckers. So you've got rifle in the back and pistol up front. I actually haven't run these in competition yet. These are part of my kind of mill LARP setup. I've been using, honestly, really for the USPSA matches, really inexpensive Uncle Mike's Tactical pistol mag pouches. So we'll try this because now I need both rifle and pistol. So there you go. Got one of each. This should be plenty of capacity. For shotgun, I'm actually gonna throw a dump pouch on the belt and just fill it with shells. And it's not gonna be fast. I don't have, a shell caddy. I don't even know how to, double, let alone quad load. So that's gonna be a disaster, but need to get out there and do it anyway. Pistol holster. This is a Safariland. What model is this? I cannot read the model number. But it is a retention holster. You can see this button right here. This is how you release the retention. I have yet to run this in competition either. Previously, in a handful of USPSA matches, I ran the one that everybody maligns so heavily, the Serpa CQB that you had to use your trigger finger to release. I never had any problems with that, but nonetheless, people talk so much shit that I decided I'd get this, and I've had this holster now for 6 months. I just haven't used it in competition anyway. So that's the belt. That's it. As far as ancillary stuff, I'm bringing a Leatherman, backup batteries for the red dot. The red dot on the 300 Blackout actually is solar powered, so hopefully that one won't go down because it's Houston in summer. But the primary arms does take a battery, and it's a kind of an odd battery. It's a CR2, so I brought several backups. That's basically my standard range bag. So it's got an assortment of Allen wrenches and Torx bits and stuff like that in case something rattles loose on a gun. Hearing protection, stuff like that. Completely non-competitive stuff. I'm going to bring a buttload of water because it's supposed to be in the high 90s. And I also have a Academy collapsible, like, fabric covered wagon to tote all my crap around. I know a lot of the guys at 3Gun now, they buy basically baby strollers and put racks for their weapons on it. I don't have one of those. Maybe someday. Right now, I had all the USPSA guys did this wagon thing to cart their stuff around, so I've got one of those. We'll see how that works. I don't have it here to show you, but I'll put a link below to everything that I can link you guys to. But don't go buy any of it just yet, because this is only part one, and we'll see if any of it's even useful. I could have the totally wrong setup here other than ammo. And I'll let you know. But that's more or less what I'm going with. And hopefully that gives you an idea of absolute bare necessities to get out there and at least try 3Gun. Like I said earlier, links below to all this stuff. Thanks for watching, and another video go up in a day or two detailing how things went, and if my GoPro works, maybe I'll even have some footage of how terrible I am.